student. This time I'm very excited because we have 3 second-year students and one of our first-year students, and they're going to be able to talk about their experiences in the program. This is a pretty informal conversation. We really want this to be a place where you feel like you can ask questions. I'm going to very quickly tell you more about yourselves. If you saw this slide on Friday, then you can read on along with me. But it's very exciting to see that in this incoming cohort, you are an ambitious and very widely experienced group. You're internationally diverse, and unsurprisingly, this is a group that is 80% presenting as women, 20% as men. The average applicant age is on the younger side this year. We are delighted to see this kind of diversity and variety in the cohort. And I am particularly delighted to be able to share with all of you the perspectives of more of our students. So joining us today, we have second-year student Ismail Shekibullah, who has successfully defended his thesis last week. Elsie Bergen, also second year, also successfully defended. And we have 2 of our first year students, my apologies, Galia Kaidarova, who is here as a first year student, and Paul Ngangula. And if I'm mangling people's names, you should totally call me out on that. But will be joining us and sharing their experiences and their perspectives about the program. For anybody who does not know me, my name is Lisa McKean. I am the Senior Associate Director for Experiential Learning and Graduate Admissions. I am fortunate enough to work with you all, not only before you arrive, but once you are here in the program on research placement. And with that, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to stop talking myself, and I'm going to encourage you all who are joining us to introduce yourselves to each other in the chat while our panelists are introducing themselves to you. And I'm going to start with you, Galia. I'm going to ask each panelist to say your name, your year in the program, what you will be doing this summer or what you did last summer, and why you chose Duke. So I'm going to start with you, Galia.
Okay, yeah. Hello, everyone. First of all, congratulations on your acceptance to this wonderful program. My name is Galia Kaidarova. I'm a first-year student here at DGHI. I'm originally from Kazakhstan. And I'm actually doing internship with Healthy Eating Research, where I conduct interviews on digital food marketing and negative exposure of it to children and their health. And what I was doing prior to coming to Duke, I took a gap year after my undergrad degree at Duke and Shan University, and I was working on several nutrition and projects back home in my country. And the reason why I chose Duke, again, because I really like the interdisciplinary approach that DGHI has here, and also the fieldwork and internship opportunities that are available here. And I really just like the area of the research triangle.
Paul.
Alrighty. Hi, everyone. Again, congratulations on your admission. Happy to see everyone here. My name is Paul Ngangula. I am originally from Zambia. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am a first-year master's student here at Duke in global health. So what I was doing before the program, I just graduated from my undergrad last year. I was studying pharmaceutical engineering in China, and the reason why I decided to, switch or just like try to do something else other than what I was studying was mainly because of the work I was doing with a nonprofit back home that I work with. And so the program really resonated with the work I was doing, and the fact that, just like Galia mentioned, the program is very interdisciplinary, and the fact that I have the opportunity to work on research and have like a hands-on hands-on experience for me is what really spoke to me when making my decision to enter the program. And it's really been exciting. And currently I'm working with Dr. Brandon Caneto on my research which is directly related to my thesis, sorry. And it's mainly based on his intervention that he's implementing in Tanzania, that is a telehealth-based counseling intervention that is aimed at reducing suicide amongst people living with HIV. And it's really been an amazing experience because I get to work with a wonderful team in Tanzania. And so there is a lot I can talk about in relation to that, but I'll leave it at that for now. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. So for now, that's it.
Thank you, Paul. And there's such a lovely connection with the research mentorship that I'm going to head to Ismail.
Yeah. Hello? Can you hear me? All right. Thank you so much. My name is Ismail Amiri Shekibula. I was born and raised in Tanzania. And before Duke, I was working with KCMC Duke collaboration with Dr. Brandon Neto. And that's where I generated my interest of coming to Duke, because I have working with him and connection with other people from Duke. And I really like to see how people from Duke, they were working. Of course, here Duke, we have something we call diverse. So when I knew that people Duke are accepting everybody from everywhere, I was like, oh, this is a nice space for me to come. And of course, I witnessed it when I came here. I really enjoyed the diverse situation here. The people here are really nice, and everybody's friendly to each other. So my research, I did it in Tanzania, and it was exploratory research. I worked with people living with HIV. I wanted to know the relationship between the HIV and suicidal ideations. And of course, I defended my thesis on Friday. It was really nice. And yeah, that's why I'm here. And I'm happy to welcome everybody. And I'll be happy to answer any question that you may have, either using my number or email, whatever, anytime, please. Because I was supported by somebody when I came here, so I'll be happy to support other people as well.
Thank you, Ismail. I love this idea of paying this forward, that the support we received, we extend to those who are joining us. Elsie, please finish us up here. Introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and welcome everyone who is admitted in the program. Congratulations once more. And well, my name is Elsie. I am a second year in the program, and my research my thesis research was in global health. It was on mental health, and specifically I was evaluating the implementation of a two-tiered family therapy intervention called Tuko Pamoja in Western Kenya. It is a qualitative study, and it was interesting because I had to go back to Kenya to do my study where I come from. And well, what I was doing before I came to Duke, I worked as a research coordinator in Ampath, Kenya, which is also as a partnership with Duke, and I worked with various fellows from Duke. And this actually steered my interest to joining the program, because I wanted to have more like hands-on experience and learn more to continue with my career goals in research. And why I chose Duke is because it has a really good reputation back in Kenya with its collaboration, and also the renowned faculty and the commitment to like exploring and global health challenges was really my biggest interest, and it really made me want to join Duke, and that is how I applied, and I got to be part of this wonderful program. And I think that's it. Thank you.
I think that's never completely it for all of the things that you bring into this space. So thank you to the four of you for joining us. And you know that the goal of this time is really to allow admitted students to get a sense of what it is like to be a student in the program. And that can be everything from talking about courses and life in Durham to talking about transitioning if you are coming from outside of the United States into this space. So there's lots of room for us to ask questions. I want to encourage those of you who are on the call, feel free to type a question into the chat. Amanda, who you all have had many emails from, is on the call and watching the chat. And Alexis is keeping us focused on time and managing things. So please feel free to go ahead and type that in. We'll try to make sure we have time for you to unmute and ask directly as well. I'm going to start us off with a first question, which really sits in that space of what it is like to be a student in the program. So what's it like to be a student in the program? What is the student community like here at DGHI? And I'm going to start off with Paul this time.
Wow, that's a very good question. And I think the best way to really describe what it is like to be a student here, especially with such an amazing cohort, that I think I'm really happy to have been a part of, is really this sense of community that you get, this sense of family really that you get. And for me, it was kind of new, especially coming directly from an undergrad, because it was a whole different, I was in a whole like different system, and you know, coming here, it was new to me, really seeing how everybody is just willing to really help like one another in the program. And I had to like really adjust to that, and I had to learn how to really be able to ask for help from other students and just know that other students are like there for me. And I think also the fact that I have to be able to be willing to unlearn certain things coming from, like, you know, a whole different space. And I've really just come to learn from this experience. There's been a lot of learning points, especially just right from the beginning. You come into a whole different space. You're coming to a different country. This is mainly for international students. You have to adjust, and being being in a cohort where almost everybody is ready to help, is ready to help you. For me, was probably one of my highlights. Like, it's one of my greatest highlights in the program, and something that I would say I didn't really see coming. But I think even after this program, I think it's the connections I've created, or the friendships I've created through the program, I think will probably be long lasting even after the program. And so for me, that's mainly been the highlight. And of course, the amazing education team. I would say almost every day, it's something I really look forward to, like seeing almost everybody. I'm sure you guys have talked to Emily Kerr, Megan, Lisa. I think for me, that is always one of my other highlights of the day. It's an amazing team that you guys are gonna have here. And really, there's a lot to learn from, apart from of course your academic endeavors, your research endeavors. I feel like just this sense of community that DGHI has, I think for me is probably again, for a better term, a highlight moment for me. I think even today still. So yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Before I call on one of the other folks on the panel, I want to just reference a couple of things that Paul highlighted in there. The names Emily Kerr and Megan Haas that he mentioned. Every student who comes into the program is assigned an academic advisor in addition to the research mentor that they end up working with. And Emily and Megan are our two advisors, and they are amazing folks. And they are like meet you at the door, help you through the start to finish piece. So that is that person that we are hearing. And Ismail is currently being attacked by something on screen. I'm not sure what that is. We hope he's safe in this moment. But maybe to talk a little bit about, the experience and the student experience in the program, I will go to you next, Elsie.
I think I am going to echo what Paul said. Well, the sense of community in DGHI is exemplary for me, and the one-on-one relationship that you get to have with the education team, with the cohort, even streaming down to the other cohort, like the first years, like Paul and Galia. We all like a family. It's really a very, very interactive community that you end building a family on its own. And then again, what's really a big highlight for me is like the mentors, like you assigned a mentor to mentor you from the first year. The relationship with the mentors and guiding you through the program is really what really made me feel like this is really a great place to be. So it's been despite everything, it's been a home for me. I would call it a home because you have this family, you get from your house and get to DGHI, you can say hi and people brighten your face in the morning when you say hi to Lisa at her when our door is open, and everyone is like, it's really a very good place to be for me. That is what I've experienced in the last 2 years.
Thank you so much. It is a wonderful experience for us to have so many fabulous people wandering the hallways every morning and keeping us saying hello and getting us going. Galia, things about the student experience that you would share.
Yeah, so I completely agree with Paul and Elsie. We are very friendly cohort, the program. We always laugh and joke together. You can always hear laugh in the halls. I think this really makes you feel very welcome and like that you really belong to this place. I also really like about the program that we also celebrate different holidays together. So we celebrated Thanksgiving together, some international experience day together. And it's really great that how diverse our cohort is. We have representative from over 10, maybe even more different countries. So we learn from each other every day, in terms of the experience, also in terms of the country's perspective and everything. Same goes again with the faculty and staff. Everyone is always willing to help us in any global health endeavor that we might have. And also, when I think about me being a student here at Duke, there is lots of research and professional development opportunities available, as well as there is always some room for fun. I often attend basketball games, fitness, swimming pool. I even randomly met Ken John today on campus 2 hours ago and took a picture with him. So this is what Duke can really show you. And once you join here, you will really be part of something bigger.
I love this idea of being part of something bigger, right? Because being a DGHI is being part of Duke. Duke is being part of the global health community in the Triangle. The Triangle is part of this larger, incredible international network that you all continue to build. Ismail, if you can talk a little bit about your student experience, but maybe also bring in other activities that you've been involved in while you've been here at Duke, that would be fabulous.
Thank you so much. This takes me to when I was back in Tanzania, receiving a first email from Emily Carey introducing herself to me, like, I am your student advisor. I was like, wow, this is the right place because people are starting to find you wherever you are. So I found a family and relationship and friendship when I was in Tanzania. And when I was starting my journey, everybody wanted to know, did you get your visa? Did you get your thing? So I was very happy experiencing those kind of things. And even the day one, when I came here, we had that's welcoming party and everything. So it prepared me to feel like, oh, this is home. This is the right place for me to be. And also when we started our program here, students were very friendly. the matching process, as you said, as others mentioned, you are matching with one professor who is going to work with you for the rest of your program here. And then after that, it's not only about academic, but also that professor is able to help you as a person to grow as a human being in your future. You are discussing some things with my professor. Sometimes I also mentioning my life things, my experience, my challenges that I'm going through, and he's always there to help me. So that's makes Duke to be a very nice place to be. And also in this community, we have some organizations, small organizations. For example, we have Duke African, Duke Asian, and all that. So we have those things that help us to meet, discussing our things. Sometimes we're meeting for dinner, lunch, and all that. So those are very interesting things for me. And also being here, I normally like to go to basketball games and football. You know, in Tanzania, when you're talking about football, it's soccer. But here I learned that football is something else. So since I learned that, I really like to know about, to attend American football, and I enjoyed it. So I can tell like this community is amazing. And by the time you are here, you'll feel like you'll feel different. Maybe to those people, maybe because I'm coming from another different culture, but I felt very different when I came here for the first time. Everybody's friendly, everybody's asking you, are you okay? What can how can I help? Please tell me more. I was like, wow. And that helped my my program being like smooth. The Friday when I defended, I felt like, wow, it's good. And everybody's there to congratulate you when you are done with everything. So thank you so much.
Paul, I saw that hand up. You're muted.
Yeah. Another thing I just wanted to touch on again, on the academic side, I think this is mainly based on my experience. I feel coming into the program, I was really scared because of many of the fact that I was coming from a whole different space. I was studying pharmaceutical engineering, and that was nowhere near public health or global health. And so I think there might be some students here too, maybe having that kind of like, thought, maybe I'm coming from like an engineering background, I'm coming from like, an economics background, I don't have any public health background or global health background. I think I had that fear too when starting the program, but I think immediately as I started my classes, I realized that this program is really meant for students like you and me who are like, and experts too. But more so speaking to my experience, like I was new to the program. And so when I started the classes, I felt like the program was meant for me mainly because I had the opportunity to really understand what the program is about. They have some of the classes that will help you understand or to have like a better understanding of the global health space. You have the global health challenges class, you have the global health research class to really help you gain an understanding of what global health research is, of who is a global health researcher, and like all those like classes you have in the first year will really just like give you a bit of a background. And so whether you're coming from economics background or engineering background, I feel you would have a fair level playing ground with everyone, whether they're experts or they're also new to the program. So yeah.
Thank you. That's amazing. So I want to give people the opportunity to ask the panelists questions directly. I do see that there is a question in the chat about navigating sort of cost of living. And I want to let a couple of people, I want to offer that to you all because you have experience living in Durham and what it is like to live in Durham. But I also want to highlight that everybody's financial reality is very, very individual. So I encourage anybody with questions about their specific sort of management of finances to set up a time to talk to Amanda and I separate from this call. just because we're willing to have those deeper individual conversations. But I will put this to the group, right? It is a complicated thing to, particularly for students that are coming from outside the United States, maybe, to think about how to navigate those costs. So if you have advice or suggestions or thoughts, please feel free to share them.
Yeah, I can answer this question partially, I think. So as you know, DGHI, for the first year, they give you opportunity to work as an intern or RA for 12 hours a week. So that's paid. And then the remaining 8 hours, you can also have like secondary position within DGHI or broader on campus. We can also work. So overall, you can work for 20 hours a week, which can cover some partially of your expenses here at Duke. And I think like also like maybe finding roommates instead of like renting like the whole 1B apartment. You can also like have 2 or 3 roommates who can make the living arrangement more or less affordable.
And then in addition to what Kalia said, like living in where the bus line is would be really helpful for you to be able to move around, go to come to campus and back. So that will really cut down on your, like you need means of transport or using any transport money for you to get to campus. So really getting a house or an accommodation where it's within the bus line is really important. Would really be helpful in like getting you on time and cutting costs also like on your expenses.
Yeah, and also I'd advise if you know somebody or if you are working with a student admission ambassador, please ask those questions because those people, I am one of them. So we know a little bit. I was asked this kind of question, so I would advise you guys to reach to your student ambassador because we can advise you. Sometimes you can, because you don't know the location, sometimes maybe you can have a nice house, but it's very far and there is no any buses in that area. So work with us, ask some questions, and then we'll be able to answer. And also, for me personally, I decided to live in the house, not in the apartment. That helped me to lower down my costs of living, because there are other apartments, it's very costful, but that's, as Lisa said, it's very personal, it's individual. It depends on what you like. I would advise you to talk to us, talk to FSTR, they know, talk to whoever, and then they can help you to navigate in that area.
So just piggybacking off what everybody else has said, first of all, in lines with transportation. So for those of you that will not be driving your own cars, so Durham offers free bus transportation. And I was just reading an article again today. They've renewed that for 2024 again. So that's great news for us that rely on public transportation. So you don't have to so you don't have to worry about paying for public transportation. That is for buses. Buses are free. That is whether you're using Go Durham, Go Triangle, there's like different bus operators, so that's free. And then also in terms of housing, I would say whenever you set up your Duke email, I think the best place to start with is Duke List. Duke List has a number of different housing, I would say, options for you. Especially if you want to find a roommate, it's the best place because you know that only students, have these things there, so you don't have to worry about safety. So I think that, at least for me, that is where I started from, and even the current house I'm living in, I found it on Duke List. And I think when you go to the website, there is like a list of different houses and different contact information, so you can just reach out to the person that has a listing and you take it from there. And in terms of, I think, again, still on the housing, just like Galia had mentioned, there's like different arrangements. But also, I feel if you're living somewhere, if you're living around campus or whether West Campus or East Campus, there is, I feel there's like housing, or let me say apartments that are a bit fair. For example, you have Campus Walk, which is probably much fairer than any other apartment building. So just like Ismail said, reach out to the student ambassadors. They should be able to advise you on that. Yeah.
So these are really complicated and wonderful questions, right? Because if you're at the point where you're thinking about where am I going to live, then it's about how do I get to be part of this community? And I love that that is where the energy sits in this space, but it's a lot, it can be overwhelming. Let me do a couple of quick pieces of information. Once you have accepted your admission offer, we move forward with the idea that we're going to get you what's called a net ID, which is basically a Duke ID. That Duke list that folks are referring to for housing, you enter that net ID to get access to that list. So we can't provide you access to that list until you are formally a Duke student, which is why it's a safe place and why it's a really good resource. And it's not just for housing, it's for furniture. It can be for, I've had people who've gotten like, I'm going to take care of somebody's dog for the weekend job kind of offers. And if you need to stock a place that you're living, students that are leaving will often be selling their things because they're moving on to their next step, and you can pick them up on the Duke list. So it's a really wonderful resource that is available to you all. Other questions from the group? Anything? Ugh, favorite spots or activities? Downtime, go.
I'm gonna start off with this one. I would say so far, I think my favorite part of Durham has been probably during the weekends, farmers market. I would say the food hall. It's a great place to just like hang out with friends, or even you just going there alone. You get to meet new people. It's just a hall with different food, like people selling different foods. There's ice cream, there's like coffee, there's everything is amazing. Farmers market also a place to really meet new people. So I feel there's like really great places where you can just like interact with the local people or just like meet new people, I should say, especially downtown Durham. And also, I think one of my other highlights here in Durham has been the Duke basketball games. So one of my classmates is on the Duke basketball team, the women's basketball team, and they're actually doing so well this season. And I've had so many opportunities to go for the games, and I think the school spirit here is really something that also I think other folks can also speak to. You really get to enjoy that. So probably the basketball games, not much of a football fan, or I would say, but Ismail will probably speak to that. But for me, I think the basketball games, I highlight the farmers market on the weekends and the food hall. I think those are my top 3 activities here.
Who else wants to jump in on the favorite thing?
I think I got.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, thank you. For me, I really like to attend basketball games and football, as I said, and I really enjoy being in those events. And the good thing is we have basketball for women and also for men. And as a student, we are getting something like a favor because sometimes we are getting for free. We're getting in for free. We don't need to pay as a student sometimes. So you can have the access, you can have the information prior to the event, and then you can register to that, and then you can go there. And also, I really like to attend the gym. Of course, I don't have big muscles, but It's my favorite going to the gym. I'm meeting with other people there, and also sometimes, you know, you need to have your eyes out of the computer. So it's very nice to go there and meeting with other people. So those what I enjoy much.
Thanks. Elsie, jump in.
Yes, so for those who love nature like me, for example, the Duke Gardens is an amazing place to be. Talk about it during fall and right now during spring, the flowers, the environment around there, the fresh air, it's so serene, I can say that. And for if you love to walk around, to run or to walk on a trail, there are trails around Duke also, especially in the West Campus. It's amazing, especially I would say during fall and during spring. Then around Duke is really very, very beautiful with all colors around. And I really enjoy Duke Gardens. It's a spot where you can go and sit quietly and feel the nature and feel the air that is just so nice. So for those who love nature, here is the best place, I can say that.
Yeah, and just to add up on that, also around Duke, there is also Duke Forest and Eno Park that's located in Durham, which has also like a very nice designated path that you can hike on, maybe even bike on. And you can also have some barbecue or picnic happening over there, over the lake. And also what I like to do in my free time, I like to go to the swimming pool in Taishov, swimming pool at Duke. They also have a dry sauna there, which is very nice. And also at the wellness center here at Duke, there is some 2 massage chairs that you can have. You can lay down on, and it's very nice to go there after like a challenging day or something if you just want to relax. So there's lots of opportunities around here.
Okay, I did not know about the massage chairs, and now I'm feeling ever so slightly envious. The Student Wellness Center is kind of amazing because it really is. It's health center and it's all of these wellness pieces. The folks on the panel can give you the experts. There was a question popped into the chat that I want to make sure we have time to address because I think it's really important. And that was the question of how safe is Durham? How safe is it for women? How safe is it? How safe have you felt? And I can give my perspective, but I've been here a long time. And I think coming into a new place, we have different values and thoughts about that. So I'd like to ask each of you to respond to that question. And I'm going to just start because you're at the top of my screen, Galia, with you. But how safe does Durham feel? Do you feel safe in this space? What do you need to pay attention to?
Yes, so I'm coming from like abroad from Kazakhstan, so it's important to keep that in mind that, you know, like there is differences in terms of laws around safety in the US versus anywhere abroad. However, I think like when choosing the housing, it's important to double check on the crime rate, the map, where you're going to be living to ensure like there is nothing that can jeopardize your safety. For example, I live in, I think Elsie also live in Lancaster Commons. That's a graduate housing provided or administrated by Duke. And it's located in a very safe zone that's mapped out as a green. So it's like very safe. So I would encourage you to also maybe look for that housing if you would like, just to keep that in mind. But other than that, the trend is located in a safe area, and all of your classes are usually like in the morning, like at 11 until like 3 p.m. maximum. So in the daytime, you should be safe. Yeah.
Elsie?
Yeah, I think for me, well, also coming as an international student, I can say I've not felt really unsafe around where I live. And as Galia said, I live in Lancaster Commons. It is a Duke of campus housing and life that's for graduate and professional students. So I felt it was so helpful for me because like being the first time being in Durham, I really didn't have to look after like making the application. I didn't really have to struggle much to look for housing for a very long time, because when you're accepted and you decide to live there, there is also like Duke buses running from Lancaster to campus. And I felt it was very convenient and very safe as well. Especially for me, personally, I live here, I live there with my family, so I felt like it was a very convenient place and safe, and a place where we could access even like schools for people maybe who might be in the same place or from the same perspective as I am. So I think that could be very helpful.
Thank you, Elsie. Paul?
Yeah. I think first off, I just want to say also, I think on an individual level, a sense of safety really also just matters with like what you expose yourself to before going to a place. I think that also really affects you if you really just, expose yourself to like really negative articles that will affect you in the first weeks when you come here, because you have like this preconceived notion. But I think when I moved here, also being an international student, of course, I had to be really conscious of that. But I realized, I think I from that moment until now, I think I've not really had any encounter, I would say, that really shook me up or anything like that since I moved here. And I've had moments where I'm like, having drinks with friends over in downtown, and I've felt pretty safe. There's like lots of people here, unless you're just like in the outskirts of which I mean, you have to keep yourself safe, and you have to know what hours are safe for you, and like also like Alia mentioned, you have to know like safe areas. I think there is like a website, if I'm not mistaken, that indicates what areas are safe, like sense of safety. I don't know, but there should be like a specific site where you can find that information. But I would say overall, I've not had any encounter here since I moved here where I would say I was really affected by any like event or something that affected my sense of safety. I wouldn't say that, but also it's just like on an individual level, you just have to have that at the back of mind, just knowing what hours are safe for you to be outside, regardless whether you are here in Durham or anywhere else, really. I feel.
Thanks, Paul. That's really helpful. I want to make sure we're so quickly running out of time. This is amazing because we could talk for a really long period of time about life and being in Durham and being part of the program. So I see a couple of other questions that I want to make sure, because one of them is related to the topic that always comes up, which is the weather and navigating the weather here. So everybody is coming into this space from their own climate experience. I relocated from the Northeast. This to me feels like a pretty mild climate until August, when it's really hot, and I just am like, how is it so hot? And my friends who are coming from tropical environments are like, it's very, very cold here. So I would ask the panelists, like, how do y'all dress? What's your impression of this? Anybody jump in?
Yeah, I agree with you, Lisa. Most of us, especially from Africa, we feel like this is very cold area, but I was thinking that until I visited to Utah. That's when I said, oh, this is very nice place to live. Of course, there is a period that is cold, there is a period that is hot, but honestly, North Carolina state is one among the state that is very nice because we don't have much of cold, we don't have much of that hot for us as African. It's pretty much manageable, I can say. It's different from those areas like Utah, as I said earlier, or Boston is very cold. But for me, I usually navigate during the cold period, having a very nice heavy coat. And also during this summer, we know how to wear. So at least it's good. And the good thing I really like from here is like you can feel very cold outside when you're walking, but once you are in the classes, you feel like, wow, it's amazing. If it's hot in classes, it's amazing. So that's it.
Air conditioning is our friend a lot of the time. In the interest of time, I want to actually ask the panelists a question that is on the chat, but I'm going to ask you to respond to it here. One piece of advice you would give to students who are just starting the program? I'll give you about 17 seconds to think about that really big question. And then I will call on Galia first. What would you think, Galia?
Yeah, I think like I would say prior to coming to the program, I would encourage you admitting students to explore like different research opportunities that will be available for you like during the summer for your matching process. Because like maybe like when the matching process is happening, you just have like a couple of weeks, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks to decide what you want to do for the next year and for your thesis paper. So I would really encourage you to be like very careful about your topic of interest, about your mentor. What are you looking for in your mentor? Because you know it's investment of your time and all of your resources. Because for me, I knew about what my field is going to be prior to coming to the program, and so that kind of like made it a bit easier. But if you, of course, if you're not fully sure what exactly you want to do, I would encourage you to use some summer time to like explore more of the interests that you have.
Outstanding. Elsie, what would you say?
I think for me, time management is really important, especially within the first year when the things are really like rigorous, the program, like courses and everything. So you really need to be on top on managing your time so that you can be able to maneuver and like navigate everything that you are supposed to do, and again have a life at the same time. So like be a student and still have your life again. So that managing your time will really be the biggest thing that would help you be on top of things and again live a life here in Durham. So that is what I can say.
Thank you, Elsie. So I hear explore opportunities that are available to you in the summer. I hear think about time management. Now that Ismail has managed to get the lights turned back on again, Ismail, what would be your one piece of advice?
Thank you so much. This is really, really good and great question. I can say one thing, like, do it now. Like, if you feel like you have an assignment, don't say I'll do it tomorrow. Do it now. If you think you have something, do it now. Because time at Duke flies very quickly. You cannot imagine. I was on your side last 2 years, but I feel I remember everything we discussed during this period, like in the meeting like this. It was like yesterday, but now I am about to graduate. I remember last year I was talking to Galia, explaining to her how Duke is, and now we are talking with her now. I remember last year talking to Paul about navigating with a mentor, and now he's here. So time flies really fast. Do it now. Once you are here, do it now.
I love that Duke version of seize the moment. That is outstanding. All right, Paul.
All right. I think the first thing I would really advise the incoming students first, I think you have to really be comfortable with asking for help. Something I learned here, sometimes like, you probably don't know how to navigate something, but if you're really willing to ask for help, there's like a lot of people that are willing here to like, and are ready to like to help. But then if you're not willing to reach out to people, it's literally impossible for you to like learn new things. And that's all, you have to really be willing to unlearn certain things, because you're in a new space, right? You're here to make new connections, meet new people, and learn different things. I feel you have to be willing to unlearn certain things that might be obstacles for learning opportunities. And I would also say, especially when you start working on your research, when classes start, you really have to be honest with yourself and your capabilities and what you can offer in that moment, especially when you've matched it with your research mentor. And because sometimes maybe you are really trying to really maybe it's a new relationship with or new match with your professor, and you're really trying to prove that you must, because you're a hard worker and you're just trying to get out of your way to do stuff. I mean, if you're not able to do something at that time, just be able to, you need to really be able to communicate with your research mentor, even with your professors in class. So I feel really just being honest with yourself and what you can do and cannot do, and be willing to ask for help, be willing to unlearn certain things that might be obstacles for learning opportunities, and seize opportunities. Like Isma says, do it now. Seize opportunities. Duke is a great resource for, I feel like there's really endless opportunities here for whatever you want to do. And for those of you that might want to get in touch with me, I can go in detail with that. For one, I'm really grateful for like most of the opportunities that I didn't even think of coming to this program, but then coming here, they're just certain things I just found. I'm like, this is great. I didn't see this coming, and now it's happening. So just, yeah, talk to people. Talk to people. Yeah.
I love that so much. And it is the perfect note to end our conversation on. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the panelists really just for giving us their time in the middle of a very busy moment in their spring calendars, for celebrating their accomplishments with us and being willing to discuss the challenges a little bit. I know that all of you who have joined us on the call are at this moment of making decisions, and they're decisions that feel big and ponderous and important, and they are. But I also want to highlight the fact that this is an invitation to join this community. And so I want you to think very carefully and feel good about the information that you have when you're making this decision. Please, as Paul so eloquently put it, talk to people, reach out to us, let us know how we can help provide you with more information and how we can give you a sense of what joining this community of global health practitioners, leaders, hopeful researchers could be for you. We will make this video and the video of last week's session available to you. The students who have shared their perspectives have also dropped in just incredible jewels of information about the electives they took, the projects they've done, the people they've worked with. So watch them again, ask questions, talk to people. Have a wonderful rest of your day. It has been a joy to see everybody.
Thank you.
I've also sent I've sent my email address to the chat. For anyone that wants to reach out, please feel free to reach out to me if you've got any specific questions.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.